What's up guys, Universal Mastery. So what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences to an extremely practical level so that you can use them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results. Now what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is something that's really important because it's going to be something that's very universal, and I think a lot of people are going to, are thinking this question, and I think it's going to offer value to a bunch of people. So what we're going to be talking about in today's video is what is the most important thing that you can do when you are just beginning your occult practices. So if you are new to the occult, if you're new at being a wizard, if you're new at being a magician, if you're new at being a witch, if you're new at being a warlock, if you're new at practicing your spirituality, if you're new at trying meditation, if you're new to the occult, the hidden, and you are wanting to practice, then definitely stay tuned for the rest of this video because I'm going to go into exactly what I think the best thing that you could possibly do is going to be. Okay? Stay tuned. All right, so the first thing I want to say is definitely make sure you go and you check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content. So half of that content is going to be geared towards actual practices that literally go in line with what I'm going to be sharing in today's video. For example, I show you exactly how to do an invocation and I perform it myself and break it down back to back so that you know what you're doing. And I have spiritual practices that are in that nature where I'm showing you how to do them, and they're very potent practices, meaning you will get results when you do it. And I do have feedback from the people that are on the Patreon that have performed them, and they said they've been getting good results. Then the other half of the videos are going to be geared towards educational entertainment, which is a video that's very similar to this video, like very similar. Where it's an entertaining video and you're getting value from it. So where you're going to be able to find the Patreon is if you go to the description of this video, you'll see the first link at the top. It says My Patreon right next to that link. That's where you're going to find the Patreon. So in order to gain access to the exclusive videos that I mentioned, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. So in order to be a tier 2, it literally comes out to $9.95 a month, and that's a reoccurring payment. But if you do the math, that's literally less than $1 a day. So there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that's on there. Okay? So, and I want to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned right below that link in the parentheses. And as you go up in tiers, the benefits go up as well. So I'm going to let you check that out for yourself. Okay, but other than that, I just want to say I love all you guys that are part of the Patreon, and I'm glad to have you a part of the team. So here we go. So going right into the video. So this isn't going to be a long video. This is going to be something that's straight to the point and something that I truly 110% think is the most valuable tool and the most valuable practice that you can do when you are new to the occult, or any of the other things that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And one of the reasons for that being is because this is what I did, and just off of what I've studied and all the things that I've gone into and experimenting with life around me, seeing what other people have done, I've seen that this is the common theme. Excuse me. This is the thing that people do, and then it leads them in a direction that provides them the steps that they need to take. But it all starts from here. And what the tip is, okay, the number one thing that I think that is going to be the most valuable thing for you as a new practitioner, or if maybe, yeah, I don't know, like maybe you're a practitioner and you don't do this often, I would highly recommend doing this often until you feel like maybe you're at a level where you don't really need to do it that much anymore. It's up to you. But the thing is invocation. Okay, so invocation is going to be the number one thing that you can do when you're new to the occult practices. And the reason why I say that, and for those of you that don't know what invocation is when you have a mantra, or it is when you are calling on a spirit. And usually you're calling on that spirit through a mantra, okay, which is a specific sequence of words and letters that have a numerical value that adds up to the frequency of what that spirit symbolizes or represents. So it's all connected in gematria. So you want to make sure that you're getting your mantras from, you could say, like a valid source, so that you make sure the spirit that you're calling on, with the intention, that you have, you want to make sure that you have the right mantra that resonates with that spirit. If you don't have the right mantra and you use something else, it's not the end of the world. It's just your results aren't going to be as potent. So the reason why this is so powerful is because, and this is also known as essentially summoning a spirit. Okay, so we have invocation, we have evocation. Invocation is bringing the spirit into your body, literally calling the energy to channel through you so that you can start communicating with the spirit through your consciousness. Evocation is more so projecting the spirit outside of you, but in my opinion, the spirit is still being invocated in order to project it outside of you. So I just use the term invocation, or you could say summoning a spirit. The reason why this is the most important tool and practice that you can do is because you're having direct communication with an intelligence that sees beyond our physical senses. So depending on what spirit you're working with, one thing that I like, I think that people should understand is that the spirit realm is very vast. And when you start dabbling in the spirit realm, and when you start working with the spirit realm, you start to build a reputation, essentially. You start to build a name. You start to actually expand your, you could say, your awareness on the other side through the veil. You essentially thin the veil. And when you do that, you get recognized by other spirits. You get recognized by other forces of nature. You become yourself a force of nature, because when you're invocating these spirits, a lot of these spirits are directly connected and would be called forces of nature. And when you're invocating them, you are channeling that force of nature through your body. So you're taking on the essence of that spirit. You're taking on you could say the code of that spirit, and it's starting to work through you and unlock certain knowledge and understandings and wisdom within your own self. On many different aspects of yourself, like your psychology, mentality, emotional, mental, physical, all those aspects. It just depends on what spirit you're working with, because some specialize more so in certain areas than others. So once again, when you do an invocation, because I'm sure a lot of people right now are thinking okay, well, what spirit do I invocate? A lot of people, their mind just wants to go to that one. What is the one? What is the one? What is the one? And the truth is you want to choose a spirit that you feel drawn to, whether that be an angelic spirit or whether that be a demonic spirit. My best advice would say, look deep within, feel it, okay? Don't make this too technical, because it's not. Feel it. What is calling you right now? What is it? What are you drawn to? What were you raised hearing a lot of? When you were raised, what names did you hear a lot of? What spiritual conversations were you around, and what spirits have influenced you as you've grown up? Really feel that out. What are some of these names? Is it Archangel Michael? Is it Lucifer? Is it Archangel Gabriel? Is it Satan? So, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, right? Figure it out. Okay? That's the spirit that you want to go with. And to be honest, when I first did this, I used a spirit that I felt intuitively drawn towards right after I saw a video. Okay? Because I come from a Christian background. So I was watching a video, it was an E.A. Quetting video, and it was on a demonic hierarchy. That's what his video was on. and I had never summoned a spirit before in my life consciously. And he was talking about some demons, and I was coming from a Christian background, and I was ready to break that paradigm. So I summoned a demon, and that's what I did. You know, he named a couple demonic kings, and I summoned one of them. And I've mentioned this in some of my previous videos for those of you that know. So the truth is it really it's not like, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, it's not like, oh, if I don't have the right spirit, I'm gonna get, like, something's gonna happen. You need to erase that out of your mind, because that's weakness. Okay, that's not true. You are a very powerful spirit in your own right. You have to remember that. There's a spirit that's constantly possessing your physical body. That is the most powerful spirit that's in you, and it is you. It is in you, and it is outside of you at the same time, just like all these other intelligences. Now, there's a little bit of a process to fully awaken that inner spirit and to build that connection. But what I will say is that inner spirit is directly connected to the subconscious, to the unconscious, and in the astral. So it's a lot easier to go to a different spirit that's commonly worked with to learn about the self, because these spirits were essentially, some were created to literally be guides, to literally help you through the process of your own self-evolution when it comes to your own spirituality and, you know, all the other aspects. And then some weren't necessarily created for that, but some have chosen to take on that role and are very helpful. And there's tons of spirits out there. So basically what I'm saying is, like, let's say you do an invocation. You choose a spirit you feel drawn towards. Maybe that spirit doesn't have much to do with you. Maybe maybe the things that it's got to teach you, there's just not that much that has to teach you. Well, guess what? The spirit realm is vast. There's times where certain spirits will call other spirits to come and introduce themselves to you, or to make themselves known to you, so that you can start working with them. Because all these spirits have different, you can almost think of them as different pieces to the puzzle. Some are larger pieces, more important pieces, and others are smaller. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all important, but some have more power and more domain than other spirits, but they all play different roles in evolution and uncovering different mysteries within and outside the self, which is where it gets, that's why the occult sciences are so advanced, and you could study it for lifetimes on lifetimes, which is why I like it so much. So once again, you could pick a spirit, right? And maybe the spirit doesn't have much to teach you. Maybe it does, I don't know. But hypothetically, if it didn't have much to teach you, it can call the right spirit for you, because it's still an intelligence. It's still a very powerful spirit. It's still a very powerful energy that literally has an intelligence to it, that knows, oh, this is Jeremiah calling on me right now. Well, I don't have much to work with. I don't have much to work on with Jeremiah, so let me call this spirit, because I know this spirit is directly connected to that. Now, next thing you know, I might be trying to do an invocation of, let's fill in the blank, like let's say Lucifer, and then, let's say that Lucifer doesn't really have much to show me. So next thing I know, I'm scrolling on YouTube and I see all these videos on this other spirit, like let's say Belial or something in that nature. So now I'm figuring out, now I'm scrolling on YouTube and Belial's name is popping up. Then I'm walking down the road, someone texts me, they say, hey, I had this experience with Belial. And then, in my mind, now I'm going to draw these connections. Oh, Belial's name is coming up a lot. Maybe I'm on the road and someone's license plate says like Belial, or I see it on a picture somewhere, or, whatever it is. I see the symbolism of a scorpion. These are all signs that a spirit's trying to communicate with you. And this can also happen. But once again, so, I'm glad with that value. I'm glad with what I shared there. I think that's going to offer you guys some value. But this is really what this does. What the gist of this is going to do, okay, of doing invocations, is it's going to, it's going to develop certain psychic senses. You're going to develop an awareness of the spirit realm. It's gonna pretty much open your third eye. Okay, the more you do it, it's going to start to open your third eye even more and more and more. So you want to do it, literally continue to do it until you get results. If you don't get results the first time, then you didn't do it right. If you don't get results the second time, you didn't do it right. if you didn't do it right, that does not mean to stop doing it. That means to do it until you see results. You have to do it until you see results, because it's in a state of mind. So if you go into the invocation and you're like, you're asking, hey, can you show me that you're in my life? Can you show? First of all, when you do an invocation of whatever spirit, you don't even need to ask for that shit. It's gonna show in your life. Like when you do invocations of a certain spirit, you're gonna notice the presence of that spirit in your life a lot more often. So that's what you should be expecting. You should see that. So once again, if you're not seeing the presence of that spirit, then you're not in the right state of mind. So that just means you need to continue to do it until you get in the right state of mind. And you can even ask the spirit, take some time, take a breath, ask the spirit, hey, can you show me how to do this the right way? Can you show me how to be in the right state of mind? Okay, when I first started doing invocations, I would wake up early as fuck in the morning at like 5 a.m. before school, and I would sit down on a thing that I bought, light some candles, and do my invocation for like an hour. And I would do it till I got it right. And I got it right. And I saw some crazy shit, some really crazy shit, like very strong manifestation, because I was really scared and I had a lot of energy built up. I had a lot of fear. I had not only fear, but my shadow. So this was before my healing process, before I went through tons of initiations and did my own healing. My shadow was strong. If you guys don't know about the shadow, that's like what Carl Jung talks about, which is it's repressed emotion, and it's essentially your false self. Okay, it's the part of you when you're not aligned with who you are, and you deny that, you deny yourself, and what happens is you create an identity based on attachment, and you create an identity from holding on to things and thinking that that's you, and that causes you to not look at yourself in certain areas, and it causes you to distract yourself constantly, and it's like you're constantly looking for stimulus in other places, and you're not in touch with and you're not in touch with yourself. You're not feeling. And it creates a suppressed shadow. From all that suppression, it creates a shadow. And that shadow can be very strong. And most people in our society have a pretty strong shadow. This whole coronavirus and all this stuff is a great manifestation of that shadow coming to the surface. Like with all the riots that happened, that was a perfect opportunity. That was literally the universe's opportunity, Earth's opportunity to express their shadow. Like that was literally shadow. That was 100%. Like all the riots, people are finally venting themselves out. It's because their shadows had an opportunity to express. But that expressing is pointless if you're not actually going through the healing process, and you're not coming to the realization, you know what? I need to let go of this shit. I need to let go of these attachments, and I need to start looking inward. I need to start breathing, which is what invocations is very attuned with. So when you do invocations, you have to be in the right state of mind to even get it right. And the right state of mind it's not hard to get in. It might be a little challenging though, depending on how strong your shadow is, depending on how how much trauma you might have built up, or how much you have a hard time like holding on to things. Like for people that come up to me and the first thing that they want, I want to do this to manifest this, and I want to have this car, and I want to have this, and I want to have this house. I guarantee you, like, that's not you saying that. I know it's not you. I don't even care. Like, I know. So for someone like that, they have all these things that they say they want, and they're just getting into magic, and that's like the first thing they're trying to do is like get a mansion and get all that stuff. I'm not going to say that's wrong, but that mindset is not the right mindset to make magic work. And that's all I'm going to say, because, I went into this practice with a similar mindset about 4 years ago. And not 4 years ago, literally about almost 3 years ago. I went into this with a very similar mindset where I wanted nice things. I wanted to be successful, but I was more heart driven. I was more like, I want to be the best me. I want to reach my purpose, and I want to do this. If I was only up here and I only wanted those things, then you're looking for, you're looking in the wrong place. Like, you're going to fuck your mind up because real transformation will take place. And when real transformation takes place, that means you have to literally heal on a certain level to a certain degree. And some people don't want to do that. Some people want their attachments, and that's what fuels them and makes them feel like they exist and they're real. And they literally have lost themselves so much that they literally are not them anymore. Like, it's a different person. And that's most people in our society. Have you ever seen how like people like how rigid people are, and they're walking around and you see the fear and you see the lifelessness in their eyes? It's like a hamster, right? Like, these people are like literally like hamsters looking for stimulus, looking to get that little water from the little tank, little tube that pops in the cage. And that's how people act. And they get triggered so quick because their identities are attached to beliefs and all this stuff. So invocation, once again, I'm going to wrap it up soon. We're at pretty much 21 minutes. Invocation is very powerful. And it's okay. You don't need to be scared about going into it with the wrong mindset, because over time, it will correct you till you get it right. I did invocations with Lucifer before, and I did not have the right mindset going into it, and he showed me very quick. It was a little bit, like, it was a little tough. Like, he mentally attacked me. Like, I felt it. When really it was me attacking myself. But he did something to my mind that like made me just, it felt terrible. And then I let go of it. And then I felt fine. And it took like, it was literally like 2 minutes. I was performing the ritual and I was going way too fast. And I was like being run by my shadow. And then he, boom. And he just did something to my mind. And it creeped me out at first. Because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I stopped. And I was like, and I started moving really slow, and then I got what the message was. It was, you want to feel it. You need to be in touch with yourself. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense. Okay. And then, since then I've gotten great results. So that's what you're going to get from invocation. It's a practice that will also, this is the last thing I want to say about it. It will lead you to your journey. So the truth is that everyone's on a journey, and I'm going to make a video on this, okay? I think I'm going to make it after this one, I'm not sure. But everyone is on a journey. Your life, my life, your life, his life, her life, is like a fucking movie. Everybody's. There is a real journey, and you are a real initiate on that journey. It's just, are you aware of it yet? And the way that you become aware of the journey, and the way that you actually start causing the journey to gain momentum, meaning you start seeing the signs and your life turns into like a movie, is when you start tapping into who you are and letting go of all the bullshit, and then just being and experiencing life as if it's communicating to you constantly, and you're listening to yourself on a much deeper level. You're able to get into your subconscious mind, your unconscious, a lot more effectively. You're able to be more authentic, and things will come to you that need to come to you. You don't have to force everything. It's a state of power. So invocation will lead you to your journey over time with consistency. And trust me, the spirits that will take you to where you need to be, to begin your journey, they know if you're serious or not. They know if you're bullshitting yourself. Your own spirit knows. Your own spirit is in this journey as like, if you can imagine yourself having a spirit that's literally influencing your physical body right now. Your own spirit knows it has to go through a process of evolution, and there's no tricking it. There's no tricking that spirit. There's no tricking yourself. Okay? Every cause has an effect. If you try to trick the process, you're tricking yourself and putting yourself in a deeper hole. Okay? So there's many spirits out there that understand when someone tries to do an invocation, they don't get results for the first time. There's spirits and your own, and you should feel this internally. This should be a natural emotion. Like for me, I don't need a spirit to tell me this. This is natural. You've got to keep trying. Like if you fail once and give up, and then you're like, oh, doesn't work, or this is not what this isn't what I thought it was, then okay, go back to your life of being in ignorance. And some people would choose that path, but others are not going to choose that path. And there's no fooling anybody in this process, okay? This is about being your authentic self and becoming powerful. So that's where I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope this video offered you value. Once again, hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, right down there. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell because I post videos as often as I can. And definitely make sure you go and you check out my Patreon. Remember, on my Patreon, I have a video showing you how to do an invocation where I perform it myself. I even give you some tips and techniques on how to make it a little bit more effective. Okay, so that's on my Patreon. First link at the top of the description. Second link below, that's gonna take you to my Facebook community. You go there, you're gonna see a pin post that says private group here. Click that, request to join the private group. Once I get around 50 people, I'm gonna be posting on there consistently. So what I do is I post quotes, pictorial quotes, and I'll do some extra written content, like things that are on my mind and things of that nature. So definitely make sure you check that out as well. And I love you guys. Yep, this is gonna wrap it up. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.